有点过了，道德绑架嘛。
Over the last few years, Chinese little pinks have been causing trouble around the world and even committing some violence. This shows that the so-called patriotic education or CCP loving education that the Chinese Communist Party or CCP has been instilling in its people for a long time has taken root and got bad fruits. Today, we will talk about the topic of little pinks. On September 29th of this year, a Chinese man was checking in at a Japanese hotel when he heard a desk clerk say, "I'm from Taiwan." He was instantly enraged and asked, "Aren't Taiwanese people Chinese?" He asked, "Aren't Taiwanese Chinese?" To which the employee replied, "Taiwanese are not Chinese." Why was the Chinese man so agitated? Because he absolutely believes in what the Chinese Communist Party has instilled in him. Taiwan is an inseparable part of China. If anyone disagrees, he or she is a Taiwan independence activist. The term Taiwan independence activist is a negative term in Chinese Communist propaganda, meaning an enemy of China.
说中国人？我台湾人。
I am from Taiwan.
台湾人不是中国人吗？
Aren't Taiwanese Chinese? Say it again. Is Taiwan Chinese? I'm telling you that Taiwan is Chinese. You're a Taiwanese separatist.
你是台独啊？
Let's not talk about politics, okay?
我问你，那我问你是不是台？
I asked you if you were Chinese. Why did you say you were Taiwanese? Are the Taiwanese Chinese? I'll ask you again. Is Taiwan part of China? I'll ask you again. Is Taiwan part of China? The Chinese man claimed to be a resident in Japan. He emphasized, "I'm even checking out of the room," and then uploaded the video to a Chinese hostile platform, revealing the name of the hotel employee. While most Chinese netizens praised his behavior, it's clear that this group of netizens has also been brainwashed by the Chinese Communist Party's education and propaganda. Some overseas Chinese criticize that this kind of behavior will only damage the image of Chinese people. There are also overseas netizens who put the video with Japanese subtitles, hoping the Japanese people know what is going on. Recently, Japan and Taiwan have been the main venues for little pinks to cause trouble. On October 1st this year, China's National Day, a Hong Kong group organized an anti-China National Day event in Taiwan. 2 Chinese tourists went there to pick a fight. On October 1st, the 75th anniversary of the founding of the Chinese Communist Party, Hong Kong people in Taiwan applied for permission to hold a rally against the CCP in a place in Taipei City. They erected a black banner reading, "Restore Hong Kong," and gathered about 20 people to protest against the CCP's infringement of democracy, freedom, and human rights in Hong Kong and elsewhere. Before the speech, 2 Chinese tourists made a scene. They pulled up the flag and threw it to the ground, with one of them shouting, "Today is China's National Day. I won't allow this kind of flag to be planted." A Hong Kong resident on stage stepped forward to stop them, asking, "Why are you destroying my things?" The man still tried to grab the flag and yelled, "Hong Kong is part of China." Some people at the scene blamed him that this was Taiwan and that he was free to express his views but not to vandalize other people's belongings. However, the man continued to claim that Taiwan is also part of China and Taiwan and Hong Kong are both part of China, to which the bystanders responded, "Taiwan belongs to the Taiwanese and Hong Kong belongs to the Hong Kong people." The police on the scene saw this and immediately went to the scene to persuade and separate the 2 sides. The conflict did not further expand. 2 Chinese travelers then left the scene, while the people in Taiwan and Hong Kong stayed on the scene to continue their activities. The Taiwan Immigration Department investigated and found that the couple who caused the incident, surnamed Yao, are Chinese nationals. They had originally come to Taiwan in the name of visiting relatives, but the people they were visiting were not even in Taiwan. Due to a typhoon, cross-strait flights were cancelled and the couple was deported at noon on October 3rd. In accordance with the law, the Taiwan government revoked Yao's permission to stay in Taiwan and cancelled their entry and exit permits. One of the organizers of the event told reporters that he was angry at the behavior of the 2 Chinese tourists at first, but later became frightened. He was worried that the suppression and tightening of freedom of speech in Hong Kong would be repeated in Taiwan. He said that the Chinese Communist Party does not have the word freedom in its education, which has led to the Chinese people not knowing how to respect other people's freedoms and rights, and even using violence to suppress dissenting voices. He said that voices of different political stances are acceptable, but vandalism or attempts to provoke conflict or violence are not allowed. This is not the only case in which the Chinese little pinks have caused trouble in Taiwan recently. On October 4th, the management committee of a residential complex in Taipei City issued a notice which mentioned, "Recently, residents in this building played the Chinese national anthem and other songs in the early morning. Please show your kindness, be ethical, and turn down the volume to avoid disturbing the normal rest of other residents." Some netizens left a message saying, "It's played exclusively in the early hours of the morning. This is treating National Day as a ghost festival." These kinds of people have been brainwashed and fooled by the CCP. They have gone abroad and still can't see reality. Call the police and then deport them. During the National Day holiday, a large number of videos attacking Japan appeared on Chinese social platforms. Their titles roughly mean, "Japanese dogs not allowed to eat for 7 days during National Day," and "Little Japan, your dad is 75 years old." Perhaps it's difficult for the outside world to understand where the hatred and anger of these little pinks comes from, and why do they vent it this way. In fact, due to the invasion of the CCP culture, Chinese people have received too much hatred education since childhood. This creates a syndrome of low self-esteem, jealousy, hatred, and anger. On the day when the CCP celebrates the establishment of its political power, the government deliberately releases or even promotes such videos on social media. The goal is to divert conflicts by creating hatred towards foreign countries. If Chinese people focus on the corruption, oppression, and breach of the trust of the CCP and government during National Day, then patriotism or love for the CCP would disappear. Under the Communist Party's long-term brainwashing and education, anti-Japanese sentiments have risen in Chinese society. Following a June incident in Jiangsu in which a Japanese mother and son were attacked, a 10-year-old student at a Japanese school in Shenzhen was attacked on his way to school on the anniversary of the September 18th incident. The student died of his injuries in the early hours of the next morning. Police later arrested a 44-year-old suspect. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian said it was a one-off case and that similar incidents could happen in any country. The spokesman also said that there was no such thing as anti-Japanese education in China. Is it true that there is no anti-Japanese education? Let's take a look at what happened in Nanning, Guangxi Province, southwest China. On September 30th, a man gave out free national flags, the 5-star red flag, at a square in Nanning. He asked people to trample on the Japanese flag, which was placed on the ground. The Japanese flag also had the words, "Please wipe your feet," written on it. Many people responded, including teenagers and even children. Some overseas Chinese netizens believe that this cannot be the mainstream opinion in China. He left in the message, "There are many people like this, especially students. They have been brainwashed from childhood to hate Japan and the US. I can understand these students and not blame them. But those adults have experienced the abuses under the management of the CCP. The adults who have been harmed by the CCP make us despair since they can't see through it. But we cannot say that this is the mainstream opinion because there is no count on the number of people who did not receive the 5-star red flag." Little Pink's emotions were so intense that they even made a joke. On September 30th, a netizen in Guangdong province posted a video saying that a Japanese flag appeared to be posted on his neighbor's balcony. Many pinkies immediately began to criticize. Later, the person involved clarified that this was actually the word blessings, but because the curtains are white, they look like the Japanese flag from a distance. Later, the person said, "To avoid misunderstanding, the neighbor has removed the window sticker. Thank you everyone for watching." Sober overseas Chinese left a message on the X platform saying, "China is engaged in anti-spy activities so that no one will notice the transfer of assets to foreign countries by the seniors of Zhongnan High." Now, there are plenty of things to make China's fans angry. On October 1st, 2 women dressed in kimonos, clogs, and Japanese fans posed for a photo under the national flag on the riverbank in Hebei province, prompting a crowd of onlookers to criticize them. This led to accusations and insults from onlookers. The 2 women and the accompanying photographer were later taken away by police. The onlookers clapped their hands.
那个是摄影师吗？
What many little pinks don't know is that during World War II on Chinese soil, it was the regime of the Republic of China that bravely resisted the Japanese invasion. The head of state at the time was Chiang Kai-shek. He led the army to resist the invasion and paid a heavy price. When the Communist Party faced the Japanese invasion, it created divisions within the Republic of China and secretly developed its own power. Later, Mao Zedong, the leader of the Communist Party of China, and Zhou Enlai, China's first prime minister, thanked Japan many times for its invasion of China and gave up Japan's huge war compensation. According to official CCP publications, Mao Zedong thanked Japan for invading China at least 6 times. For example, China and Japan established diplomatic relations on September 29, 1972. On September 27, 2 days before the establishment of diplomatic relations, Mao Zedong met with Japanese Prime Minister Kakuei Tanaka in Zhongnanhai. Tanaka apologized to Mao Zedong and said, "I'm sorry, we launched a war of aggression and caused great harm to China." But Mao Zedong said, "You should not be sorry, you have merit. Why are you merit? Because if you hadn't launched a war of aggression against China, how could our Communist Party be strong? How could we seize power? How could we defeat Chiang Kai-shek? How should we thank you? We don't want your war compensation. It's with your help that we can see you in Beijing today." In recent years, Sino-US relations have undergone tremendous changes, from friendship to competition and confrontation. So the little pinks not only hate Japan, but also hate the United States. iPhone is a well-known mobile phone brand launched by Apple Company in the US. The Chinese Communist Party discourages officials from using foreign mobile phones. In September last year, some institutions in Beijing and Tianjin banned employees from bringing foreign brand mobile phones such as iPhones to the workplace. Huawei mobile phones are a model of domestic products promoted by the CCP's patriotism. Little pinks regard buying Huawei mobile phones as a sign of patriotism and support for domestic products. This is September 29th this year. A man in Henan, China walked into an Apple store holding a Huawei trifold mobile phone. Regardless of the store clerk's obstruction and the surprised looks of the surrounding customers, he performed a very weird performance. He wanted to express his love for Huawei mobile phones and his disdain for American products like Apple in this way. Little pinks use this unique way to express their patriotism or love for the party. Filming videos and posting them on Chinese social networks can attract a lot of traffic. Perhaps this was also the man's intention. The weirder the show, the higher the traffic. If you have traffic, you can become an internet influencer, which can bring in advertising and other income. CCP-loving performances can become a business. This is also a new career for young people in China today. It's just hard for outsiders to tell whether they have more love for the party or more motivation to make money. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.